The Love is Blind Season 6 reunion is happening this week, yes, on Wednesday, and you know your boy's going to be talking about it. But before we even get into that, can we all just collectively hope and pray that the Lacheys ask good questions? Please. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real breakdown of, a trailer for the Season 6 reunion. I'm giving you all my predictions as well because we're only days away. On Wednesday, March 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Netflix, they're going to be debuting the Season 6 reunion, which means I'm going to be up very late and I'm going to drop my recap and review. So hit the big red button if you don't want to miss out, and don't be a stranger. Join the real family because we've been talking all about Love is Blind all season long. And yes, I'm still upset at Clay. Now, the trailer that Netflix debuted last week on their YouTube channel is just over a minute long, and it features some really juicy bits of info, especially for those who have been following along for Season 6. Now, I promise you, I'm going to get into all the details, but before we even do that, I want to catch you up in case you've maybe forgotten what happened last week. It was a lot. So, who got married? Well, only one couple, and that's Amy and Johnny. To nobody's surprise, they were the best and strongest couple this season, but don't tell Jimmy that because he might get a little upset. Now, who didn't get married last week? There were a couple, of course. First, gotta start with Jimmy and Chelsea. Jimmy said, of course, I can't go to the altar with you, and Chelsea's like, why? And then she leaves and goes and cries over a fence at an amusement park. So a lot was happening in that conversation, but Jimmy was giving quite a bit of an excuse, or excuses I should say. The very first one was, you said Amy and Johnny were the strongest couple, and I don't like that. And then he said, well, you brought up the fact that I slept with one of my girlfriends before meeting you. Also, maybe Chelsea was valid in that complaint. However, Chelsea definitely was shocked because she was the one who said, if I had to choose right now, we'd be married. I'd say yes to you. Well, that didn't happen. And then there's AD and Clay. Now, they both got to the altar, but it was Clay who said no after AD said, I do. And listen, remember what AD said a couple weeks ago? I will not continue to date you if you say no. Now, keep that in mind because there's a couple thoughts I have for the reunion, and if one of them comes true, I'm sure if you're a fan of AD getting some sort of vengeance on Clay by saying no and cutting him out of her life, you might be upset. Alrighty, so now we're going to break down the reunion trailer, and I'm going to give you my predictions as we go segment by segment, because even though it was only a minute and 13 seconds, there's quite a bit to take away here. So of course the trailer opens and the Lacheys are being cheesy as always. Nick Lachey says, and I quote, "Get your EpiPens ready." Excuse me, sir. I'm the only one that can make cheesy jokes like that on this channel. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, we're probably gonna get a lot of that. You know, the dad humor, and then Vanessa Lachey coming out of the woodwork, shouting and crying and trying to put herself in situations, and we've come to expect that from their hosting abilities. But I really, again, hope they ask some hard-nosed questions. And then we start to see some of our contestants from Season 6 walk in together. First off, it's Amy and Johnny. They're together, holding hands, smiling, and if I had to predict, yeah, they're still married. And after them comes Clay and AD. They walk in, smiling and waving at the crowd and stuff, but they're not holding hands. They're probably dating, guys. If I had to make a guess, if you told me right now, James, you better predict something about them, I think they're dating. Okay, first of all, if they weren't, why would they come in together smiling like that? Instead, you'd think that maybe they would come in a little bit more downtrodden, but based on what we saw in that viral video from last week, where apparently Clay and AD had Thanksgiving together, I wouldn't be surprised if AD said, "Fine, Clay, come on back into my life." She did say she attracts red flags. And then we see Jessica and Jeremy walking together, but guys, there is no way that they're dating. And we'll touch up on Jeremy later on in this breakdown, but yeah, no way they're dating. I think it was just the producers that put them up together and said, yeah, walk in. There's no way though that they're together. And then we cut quickly to Chelsea, Jimmy, Brittany, and Kenneth standing next to one another. Chelsea and Jimmy are next to each other directly, and the same for Brittany and Kenneth. But I have to ask, guys, why does Kenneth look like he just got back from the Oscars and hasn't changed yet? And then we see Brittany taking a little bit of inspiration from AD's wedding dress with her own reunion dress. Y'all know what I'm talking about in terms of the similarities, right? Okay. And then we see Chelsea's dress, and Chelsea's dress is the walking embodiment of Taylor Swift's song Bejeweled. I mean, just look at it. And Jimmy himself is exactly who you would expect to see in a Macy's catalog modeling men's dress wear. That's it. And this next note is not anything we're going to spend too much time on, but it seems like this entire reunion was recorded in front of a live crowd. However, we know this is not a live reunion, and thank God, because you guys remember the last time they tried to do a live reunion, we were all sitting and waiting, and then they're like, we're just going to put it up the next day, and we're going to record it now, but it's not going to go live on Netflix. Jury's still out on whether or not Netflix can handle live streams like that. We'll see. And then we get some shots of who's sitting next to who on the couches. It's always fun to speculate whether this means something or not, but Amy and Johnny, of course, look great together. I mean, look at them. So happy and cheerful, and they're the saving graces for season 6 of Love is Blind. And then Nick Lachey says, and I quote, "Real heartbreak." And then they cut to Brittany and Kenneth, who surprisingly is not texting. So yeah, they're going to dive into maybe Brittany and Kenneth's departure from one another, their breakup, and I would hope they get into Kenneth being extremely cold towards Brittany. I hope the girlies go to bat for Brittany. And then they cut to Chelsea and Jimmy looking awkwardly at who I'd imagine are the Lacheys. Maybe they've asked a question that doesn't sit well with them or trigger some PTSD. But all I know is that somebody better get Chelsea a barf bag, because if she's got to throw up, it better not be on anyone else. And then we see AD and Clay, who are sitting next to each other as well, but trust me when I say their body language looks off in this moment. And that's probably because they're going to start grilling them about their relationship towards the end, their ceremony, and how Clay treated AD. Because truth be told, I don't really think AD did anything wrong to Clay this season. It was really just Clay getting in his own way. Clay, way, I didn't mean to rhyme there. And then we hear Clay say,
"She's honestly loving my life, and I did make a mistake."
And then they cut to AD crying. Clay, make up your mind. Bro, what are you doing? You go from 1 minute to say, I don't really understand her finances and I wasn't deeply in love. In your testimonial interview, yeah, you think we forgot. We never forget. And then you go and say, she's the love of my life and I made a huge mistake. I don't know what changed. But maybe his TikTok followers were dependent on him being in a relationship with AD. I have no clue. But AD, please, I hope you didn't take him back. And then Vanessa Lachey hints that they'll ask real questions. Yeah, okay. Oh, we've been waiting for real questions, so please don't tease us with a good time. And then the camera cuts to Jeremy in, yeah, you guessed it, a Hawaiian shirt. And I'm so sure Laura is not happy with it still. Speaking of Laura, she's actually not at the reunion, guys. She's remoting in, so at least she'll be a part of it, but that face she's serving tells me she's going to destroy Jeremy and Sarah Ann. And I guess if you say her name, she will appear, because Sarah Ann then waltzes in to the reunion. She's looking like, guys, it's me, the villain. And then we hear very briefly Chelsea stirring the pot and saying,
"I've never stayed up till 5 a.m. just chatting."
Oh, Chelsea. Putting yourself right in the middle of a situation again, aren't you? And then I would have to imagine this is when they'll set the stage for a huge Laura and Sarah Ann showdown. Let them clear the air in front of a crowd and in front of everyone else. Oh, please let them at it, because I really am curious to see how that unfolds. So we then see Sarah Ann and Jeremy sitting next to one another, holding hands. Oh, they've got to be dating. Yes, they're dating. Now, I again have not dove into conspiracy theories or anything like that, or social media spying, but if I had to imagine or guess that they are dating, and I mean, just look at them. They're two peas in a pod, man. Jeremy should have just picked Sarah Ann. I don't know why he didn't pick her. Would have saved us from all this nonsense. Sarah Ann then shouts, "I'm a pick-me girl, you're the pick-me girl." And someone pinch me, because are we still stuck in middle school? What in the world? And Laura replies, and she's heard saying, "You're a clown." But I wonder, does this clown wear open-toed shoes? If you know, you know. Now this next section is a little bit meatier, because we're going to dive into some quick cuts here. Nick Lachey then teases that the reunion will have special guests and past contestants. So we go, you know, I guess section by section. They didn't probably show every single couple here that's returning to the show, but we do see Kwame and Chelsea from season 4. Kwame surprisingly is not playing a song, but we'll still see if he does maybe bring his guitar for this one. And then we see a wide shot of 3 couples, and if I get any of these wrong, please let me know in the comments below, because sometimes your boy forgets things. Brennan and Alexa, they do kind of, you know, seem happy, I guess. Alexa looks a little bit different from season 3. And then Matt and Colleen from season 3. Colleen, blink twice if you're okay. And then I can't remember the names of the couple on the bottom row here, so please help me out because they look really familiar. And I did notice one thing: she's holding her stomach. Now, I don't know if that's because she just got done laughing or something, but you know, I wonder if they're expecting. And if they are, Vanessa Lachey's probably gonna ask about a Love Is Blind baby again. And then we see Tiffany and Brett. They're back and still going strong from season 4. Man, I love them together. I love them. And then we see Izzy and who? Well, at least I know Izzy's from season 5, but anyone know who that person is that he's with? I don't know who she is. Oh, all right, I guess we'll find out on Wednesday. So it does seem like they'll allow the guests to ask questions to our contestants from season 6. And I'm so sure they're going to ask cringy questions like the one they teased in the trailer.
Were condoms not an option?
And my goodness, guys, can we just leave Amy and Johnny alone? I don't know why they keep asking Amy and Johnny these weird questions. They weren't intimate on the show. That was their decision. Leave them alone. And they look annoyed. Look at them. Golly, why? And of course, we get teased about some jaw-dropping confrontations. Jessica is then heard saying, "I thought we were on good terms." And I think this is probably directed towards Jimmy, because remember, Jimmy did mention in a recent interview that Jessica got the good edit. That's sure not to make Jessica upset, right? And then we get another surprise contestant from season 6 waltzing into the season 6 reunion, and it's Trevor, the not so incredible Hulk. My brother Chris from Tate's Takes, him and I on the same wavelength with that one. But honestly, to my utter surprise, and I am shocked, you guys, Nick Lachey is then heard saying, unbeknownst to her, "You have someone on the outside." So guys, I think they're gonna dive into Trevor having an alleged relationship during filming. He had one, guys. I know I have to say alleged, right? But he had one. Come on. And then Trevor is heard saying, boy, you caught. You are so caught. You are caught dead to rights, homie. How dare you? How dare you try to swindle these women out of potentially meeting the loves of their lives, all because you want some screen time. Shame on you. And that's all we got for my breakdown of the season 6 reunion trailer and my predictions. But guys, I gotta know down below, what are your predictions for the reunion? Who can you see going in and causing some trouble, and what do you think takes place during the reunion as well? Again, I'm going to be watching it alongside each and every one of you and dropping my recap and review Wednesday night, so stay up with me. Don't forget to hit the big red button below, tap on the bell so you know when I'm dropping it, and like this video. Guys, I am so grateful for your support. These videos of talking about Love Is Blind this season have been so fun, and they've done so well because of your support. So thank you. You all are a blessing, and I can't wait to get into this reunion. So I'm going to go and hibernate till Wednesday. Might not be healthy for me, but hey. And if not, I'll just go grab another box of Cheez-Its. Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.